Good day, everybody. My name is Kapil Chhabra, and I'm a leadership guru. I have more than 30 years of corporate experience. During this period, I had opportunity to work with many great leaders, and I learned and I practiced what I learned. I've been blessed to have learned from great teachers, and that really made a difference to me. So firstly, thank you to all the teachers. Many of my friends have been asking me to share my perspectives on the leadership evolution. So today, I plan to talk about the 4 stages of leadership maturity. There's one more question that many of my friends have been asking me. Are the leaders born or made? Do you really want to know the answer to this? Sure. Thank you. There's a good news and there's a bad news here. The bad news is that the fact is that the leaders are born. Do you want to know the good news also? The good news is that everybody is born as a leader. Let me share how. The key elements or the foundations of leadership is on 3 factors: the integrity, the influence, and the innovation. And these are the 3 I's that makes the I that we believe ourselves to be. Now, as a child, we were very caring for others, and that's where the influence starts, when you really care for others. As a child, we were transparent, and we focused more on what we did, what we contributed, and that's how integrity starts with the willingness to contribute. And as a child, we were always curious and we were willing to experiment, and that is what is called innovation. So as a child, we had integrity, we were influential, we knew when to cry, when to smile, and when to play. Over the years, we got conditioned to be different. So, the good news is each of us can be a leader because we inherited those basic characteristics which are said to be the born traits of a leader. Now, I will build another video at some point of time to talk more about the inherent traits of a leader. Today, I will focus on the 4 stages of leadership evolution. And the 4 stages of leadership evolution is: number 1, you lead yourself, and that's also called as lead by example. Then you lead others, that is also known as emerging leaders. And then you lead other leaders, and that's also called as growth leaders. And finally, you lead by vision, and you lead many leaders of leaders, and that's what is called transformational leaders. And transformation. So, let me share with you now my own journey. When I started many years back, fresh off the college, I used to feel that people become successful because they're lucky. And that was the key differentiator for me. But as I moved in to the professional world and moving up in the corporate ladder, I realized that it is not luck. Luck is not the only factor. Luck is not the only factor. There are other factors. And the other factors are that you need to have specific skills. And you need to be working hard. So then I realized at the first stage of my professional life that you need the right skills and you need to work hard. As I moved up in the experience curve, I realized that having skill alone is not enough. It is the ability to use those skills and provide value is what makes you valuable. And I still find some people were more successful. And when I looked at them, I realized that it is the attitude that makes a big difference. And some book says that attitude is 80% what you become. And same way, some people say attitude makes you what you become, and it has 80% impact. 15% impact comes from your education, and 5% is the factor what we call as luck, which just means that you are doing the right things at the right time. So it's only the right time is that factor. As we moved up in the court and started reading others, we realized that leaders, when we talk of leader authenticity, what it really means is the leaders believe in what they say. And what it means is that they are passionate and they are working for a cause greater than themselves and are able to inspire others to maximize their potential in that direction. So the key differentiator at the second level of leadership maturity is, when you lead others, is passion. Also, at that point you have the maturity to have patience, because results are different at different times. Our old scriptures, our ancient scripture says, focus on contributions and results would be a byproduct. You have control on your contributions, not on the results. So the leaders become patient, have patience. And above all, as I earlier said, doing the right things at the right time. And part of it is being at the right place at the right time. And that's also called as punctuality. One of the key successful person I know who's been very successful. Once we had an opportunity when we were walking in a great nice garden which is called India Gate, to ask him that question, what made him so successful? And we got that opportunity because we were before for a meeting which was there in one of those blocks close to India Gate. So this person tells me that there are two reasons that has brought them great success. And the number one reason is that they're always on time. And by being always on time, he meant we are before time. And he gave an example. See, today we have an opportunity to take a walk in this garden because we are before time for the other meeting. And the benefit it gives us is that by the time I get into the meeting, I'm fully into the zone. And I have already started visualizing the outcome that I want out of this meeting. So even before entering the meeting room, I'm far ahead of many others in getting from the meeting what I need to get. So that's number one secret. And the number two secret, he said, is that we always do what interests us. Now that looked interesting to me, and I looked up and said, really? You do only what interests you? And the answer was interesting. He said, we do what interests us, or we make it interesting whatever we do, which is like our old saying, do what you love or love what you do. So these were the two secrets that I got on that day, and that I realized is also about passion. Now, as we move forward into life, I went through different roads. But I realized, and let me tell you a little challenge which I faced once. One of the challenges that I faced at one point of time was that I have to start a new organization. And then we knew that we have to grow it to a few thousand people. And I was thinking how to build an organization. And on that day, as coincidence or the message from universe, I happened to Google how to be a leader of leaders. Because certainly if I have to grow an organization of thousands of people, I need to develop other leaders. Incidentally, on that day, the first Google search result came as, which was a story about one common factor between Lincoln and Obama. And that one common factor, do you want to know that? Are you interested? The one common factor which made Lincoln and Obama successful? The one common factor which made both of them successful is said to be that each of them had people around them who were smarter than themselves. So that means I learned the art of leadership in today's environment is about having people better than yourself around you, and you being that glue keeps all the great people around you. So that's about leaders being of leaders of leaders. And that what it translates to is that these are times of being collaborative. It's collaboration, because you alone cannot be enough given the spread of what we have to deal with in today's environment. Another thing we always heard, that leaders have to be trusted. And I'll share another video at one point of time, and it's already there on my YouTube channel, how to build trust. And there are 9 factors, and I will not talk about it at this point of time. But what I realized, that behind trust, the key factor is consistency of your reliability and dependability. So leaders of leaders, they are consistent in their approach. So people can learn from them, and they start learning that what are the values that they need to abide to, and there's a consistency to that. So being consistent is another factor for leaders of leaders. And above all, these are dynamic times. So always being willing to learn, always increasing your competencies as the time changes is an important factor. So leaders of leaders continue add new competencies, so they are always competent. So that's what I learned as the third stage of leadership evolution. Now, and then I looked at that there is a leader which are really very different. When we look at Mahatma Gandhi, when we look at Nelson Mandela, when we look at Mother Teresa, they're really transformational leaders. And I studied and tried to understand what are the key factors, because the whole number of factors are so enormous, we cannot put it into one video. But the top 3 factors that I realized, including what I've already said, the number 1 was they were willing to give. So they were giving in nature. They looked at what the world needs from them. So giving, number 1. Each of them focused on a cause that was much bigger than them. So giving. The other thing these people had, but they were always adaptive and willing to learn. So learning was another key factor. And most important, do you want to know the most important factor of transformational leaders? The one most important, and that most important factor is they were humble. They had a level of humility. So this is what is the 4 stages of leadership maturity. First is about you lead self, and we talked about the 5 elements there. Then the emerging leaders, and then the growth leaders, and then transformational leaders. And to summarize, level 1, beyond the basics of the 3 I's we talked about, it is about hard working and skills, having the right